This dangerous war of Iran. Do you know what Iran's biggest weapon is? No, not a nuclear bomb. In this war, Iran's biggest weapon is the Strait of Hormuz. This is Iran's location in the world. Right next to Iran there is a small sea passage. It may look like a tiny place on the map, but in reality it is not an ordinary route. Although it appears very small, today it is one of the most important points for the global economy. It is a major international shipping route for oil and gas. Around this small passage are countries that produce the largest amount of oil in the world. About 20% of the world's oil supply is transported through this waterway. Countries such as Kuwait, Iraq, Bahrain, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and even Saudi Arabia, home to the world's largest energy companies, are located nearby. Because of oil, these countries are among the richest in the world. After oil is produced in these countries, it passes through this narrow sea route and reaches the rest of the world. Through this, these countries earn huge revenues, and the global economy runs on this oil. Every day, more than 20 million barrels of oil pass through this route. That means every year trillions of dollars in trade move through this passage. In other words, this route is extremely important for the world economy. But there is one major problem. In the middle of this route there is a very narrow point through which every ship must pass. This small passage is only about 40 kilometers wide, and for the past 40 years it has largely been under the influence of Ali Khamenei, Iran's supreme leader. This is the same route through which the petrol that reaches your car or motorcycle travels. Because of this passage, buses, trains, and even ships keep running worldwide. Iran knows this very well. That is why, even before the war began, Iran repeatedly warned the United States. If the United States attacked Iran, Iran would close the Strait of Hormuz, which would shock the entire global economy. But the United States did not stop because of these warnings. Instead, the US and Israel launched attacks on Iran. As soon as the war began, about 200 Israeli fighter jets reportedly headed toward Iran. Iran then began retaliating by firing missiles at several Israeli cities and attacking American bases. After losing its supreme leader, Iran decided to use what many consider its most powerful strategic weapon, the Strait of Hormuz. Suddenly, the radios of the large ships passing through the strait began receiving messages from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy. The message warned that no ship would be allowed to pass through the Strait of Hormuz anymore, and any ship attempting to cross without permission would face consequences. After this announcement, many ships left the area, while others became stuck behind the strait carrying millions of barrels of oil. As a result, many countries began facing shortages of oil and gas, and the global economy started to decline. Major economies such as India, China, and Japan were affected. India was reportedly among the most impacted by a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Even in Pakistan, petrol supplies began to shrink, and the government increased fuel prices. Similar situations appeared in Bangladesh and parts of Africa. For example, fuel prices in Nigeria were raised multiple times. In Europe, gas prices reportedly rose by 50% and oil prices by 27%, costing European taxpayers billions of euros. Some reports claim Iran has also placed naval mines under the Strait of Hormuz so that any ship passing without permission could be destroyed. There have also been reports of attacks on ships attempting to cross. Iran even made an offer. Any country wishing to pass through the strait should expel the ambassadors of the United States and Israel from their country. However, this is not the first time oil has been used as a geopolitical weapon by a Muslim leader. Around 50 years ago, Faisal of Saudi Arabia used oil as a political tool during the 1973 oil crisis, which shook the global economy. Now, decades later, Iran's leadership appears to be using a similar strategy by controlling the Strait of Hormuz.